Hi, my name is Tan, 30 years old, still struggling to get by in this 8 square meter rented room. For 8 months of unemployment, my life has been drowned in the gray color of poverty and psychological crisis. But this morning, I received an unexpected phone call. An old friend returned a debt of 3 million Vietnam dong that he borrowed 2 years ago. This amount converts to about $120. In the midst of this exhaustion, it feels like a lifesaver. Today is the mid-year festival, and I decided to use a small part of this money to compensate myself after long days of hardship, but I still have to save 90% of the rest to continue surviving this dead end. I take my bike out onto the street. The city today is strangely peaceful. The traffic is no longer rushing and crowded as usual. The early morning breeze blows by, partly easing the heavy pressure that has weighed on my heart for so long. According to Vietnamese tradition, people usually eat duck during the mid-year festival. I stop by a roadside stall. The fat sizzles inside the roasting oven. The meat smells amazing, with rich dipping sauces and fresh herbs calling out. Nearby, a small dog sits silently, indifferently guarding the shop. Thinking about the money I just received, I treat myself to half a roasted duck, worth 95,000 dong, which is about $4. I bring the duck back to my room and start breakfast. I didn't buy bread to go with it, even though I have money in my pocket now. Living minimally and frugally for the past 8 months has taught me how to cut down on costs that are not truly necessary. Half a duck is already more than enough luxury. Standing by the sink, the sound of running water calms my mind. Life is so ironic. Just when you think you have fallen to the bottom of a dead end, fate throws you a little light. But that little light doesn't mean the storm has passed. I must stay awake. The battle with this unemployment and depression is still very long. After eating, I walk outside to digest the food. I gently rotate my wrists and ankles, then bend over to stretch my legs, loosening up the muscles that have become stiff after long days of just lying around in my room. I reach my hand up high, taking a deep breath to fill my lungs with the fresh mountain air, trying to push out all the suffocating heaviness of the city. Moving and warming up my body at this moment makes me realize that I still have the right and the responsibility to take care of myself. Even without a job, I must not neglect this body, because this is the only asset I have left to rebuild my life. I choose to go mountain climbing. This morning, there are many other people climbing the mountain together for exercise. Seeing the crowd of all ages, from groups of young people walking and laughing cheerfully, to middle-aged folks walking briskly, I feel the surrounding space is a bit less lonely. Once my body is warmed up, I choose a flat rock facing the valley, sit cross-legged, and close my eyes to meditate. As all external sounds fade into the background, leaving only the wind rustling through the leaves, I begin to hear the shattered pieces inside my own soul more clearly. For the past 8 months, I have run away from reality far too much, sitting here, facing the vast silence of the mountains. I realized that having an old debt repaid does not solve the root of my dead end. but it gives me a breathing space, a chance to look back at my wounds. I focus on each breath in and out, slowly, trying to let go of the resentment, the self-pity, and the insecurity of being a 30-year-old unemployed man. Nature does not judge me. This mountain does not ask how much my income is or when I will get a job. That unconditional tolerance helps me find the peace that has been lost for a long time, rekindling a bit of courage to walk back down the mountain and face life again. In the afternoon, I stroll into the supermarket to buy some basic necessities. I stop by the vegetable section. First is a small bag of garlic with dry, papery skins wrapping around the pungent cloves, an essential spice to bring flavor to my daily frugal meals. I choose a long Napa cabbage, its thick white stems tightly hugging each other at the base, spreading out into pale green leaves that are slightly bruised at the edges but much cheaper in price. Next, I pick up a small pumpkin about the size of my fist. Its rough, tough outer skin marked with patches of green and yellow. Buying this is both cheap and it can last a long time in my room without spoiling. Continuing my walk, I stand in front of the toothbrush counter, intending to replace my old one at home, but then I stop. I hesitate for a long time in front of the men's deodorants, between the spray and the roll-on. In the end, I put them down and take nothing. The last item I put in my basket is a pack of yogurt for good digestion. Back in the room, I take off my dusty jacket and start preparing dinner. I open the rice cooker. Inside there is still a bowl of leftover rice from last night. Instead of throwing it away to cook a new batch, I slowly fluff up the cold rice, sprinkle a little clean water over it, and place it in the steaming basket of the rice cooker to reheat. This frugality has become a habit deeply embedded in my blood since the day I became unemployed. Having a little extra money from the repaid debt today, I decide to change the flavor for dinner with fried sausages and caramelized pork belly. There is a dish that can instantly make any Vietnamese person feel at home. It is called Dit Rang Chai Can, or Vietnamese caramelized pork belly. It is not fancy, but it is the ultimate comfort food. The secret lies in the pork belly, with the perfect balance of meat and fat. As it cooks in a hot wok, the fat renders out, frying the pork until the edges are crispy and golden brown. Then comes the magic: a splash of traditional fish sauce, a touch of sugar, and a handful of minced shallots. The moment the fish sauce hits the scorching pan, it creates an incredible savory aroma that fills the entire room. This dish is best served piping hot, right off the stove, paired with a bowl of steaming white rice, and maybe some simple boiled vegetables. It is pure happiness. For me, even in the toughest times, a simple plate of caramelized pork belly is enough to warm the soul. Alongside the main dish, there is nothing more comforting than a hot bowl of can rau ngot, Vietnamese sweet leaf soup. This is one of the simplest, most healing soups you could find in a Vietnamese kitchen. The preparation is almost like a quiet ritual. You take the fresh green leaves and gently crush them with your hands before cooking. This releases the natural subtle sweetness hidden inside. Cooked in a clear, light broth, sometimes with just a little minced pork, the soup is refreshing and deeply nourishing. Taking a sip of the hot broth, it instantly cools down the body and clears away all the heaviness of a long day. It is a dish that costs almost nothing, yet it brings a profound sense of peace. For me, a simple bowl of soup like this is a gentle reminder that even in the toughest times, we can still find comfort in the most humble things. I scoop a bowl of hot rice, sit quietly in front of the small table, and start enjoying my results. A special mid-year festival. I will keep that 3 million Vietnam dong check safely. 90% of it will be my support for the days to come. I am still alive, and I am still fighting. What about you? How was your mid-year festival? Please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support me. Goodbye.